You ready?
Good morning. I'm Carol Walrazak, bringing you invitations and celebrations at Unity on the River. Today is the last day to complete the survey for our ministerial search. If you haven't grabbed a copy and you want to fill it out, it doesn't take much time. There are extra surveys in each corner of the room, and you can just deposit the completed survey in the baskets. This Wednesday, we start with a oneness blessing at 6:30, and Reverend Nancy McNeely will be here at 6:30. If you could just come up and sit in the front rows or up here on the side, that would be appreciated. And our Wednesday evensong service is called Keeping a True Lent. I believe that's a book by Charles Fillmore, and Lisa Natoli is bringing us the message at 7. We had a community meeting in June, and as a result of that meeting, several healers got together with the thought of starting a wellness center here at Unity on the River, and it would relate to the rentals that we have. So there is an important meeting coming up, and if wellness is something you're interested in or you're in the healing arts, please come at 4 o'clock on Thursday, or you can talk to me if you have any questions. Well, Dr. Michael Murdad is back. He's coming back. He'll be with us for about a week, and he will be speaking next Sunday, Understanding the Purpose of Life's Tests. That's the 10 o'clock service. And then he's doing a workshop in the afternoon. I understand it's about learning life's lessons. Do you take the easy way or do you take the hard way? And that's what it's about. He's also doing the Wednesday evensong service on the 24th, followed by an evening of miracles on Thursday. You'll notice that there are love offerings. This particular evening is a $25 love offering. And now I'd like to ask Bill Free to come up and talk to you about sacred service opportunities. Here you go, Bill.
Thank you. Good morning. I stand in the presence. Namaste. Well, what would it be like if we came in the front door and there was no greeters, no one to say hello or to ask if we wanted a name tag? And what would it be like if we didn't have a Sunday service coordinator? Donata's back there in the back, and she's our Sunday service coordinator, and she makes sure that the mics have batteries, the ushers are in place, the bulletins have the correct items in them, the greeters and everyone else is in place, the water is there for our guest speaker. The Sunday service coordinator does a lot, as do our ushers. We have, if you came in here and we didn't have ushers, you probably wouldn't be holding a program in your hand. And so the way this community works is it works on a rotation, and we have a rotation of sacred servers that operate this community. We also have hospitality. If we leave here and no one's out there in hospitality, guess what? There's not going to be anything for you to eat after the service. And so I'm going to invite you to raise your hand if you would like to be a sacred service coordinator once a month. Would anyone like to fill that position once a month? John, thank you. Thank you very much. And an usher. We need 2 ushers. Who would like to be an usher? Cheryl would like to be an usher, and Diane. Great, thank you. Hospitality. See, asking you shall receive. I know. Now, this is just a once-a-month position. We are looking for someone that would like to work in the bookstore one Sunday a month. Who would like to, or a Wednesday night? Right here. Elaine would like to work in the bookstore. Elaine Gaffney, great, thank you. And would anyone like to be a greeter one Sunday a month? Do we have anyone that would like to be a greeter? Right here? Oh, who is that? Oh, it's Linda. Okay, great. Is it Linda? Yes. Okay, great. And then youth and family is looking for someone to work with the teens once a month. Anyone would like to work with the teens one Sunday a month? We have a hand back here. Is that Seal? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, and then one more thing we need. We would like, the back of the church has some high weeds that we need to cut down. We don't have a weed eater, so we either need someone to do the weed eating, bring a weed eater, and like Eric Wallerzak, he cut all the trees from the bottom up so that we have a nice view of the river in the back. But now and it's beautiful. Thank you, Eric, for doing that. Now we just need someone that has a weed whacker to either come and do it. John has a weed whacker. He'll come and do that. I'm here on Wednesdays. If you bring a weed whacker and you want me to operate it, I'm happy to do that, just as long as it starts on the first or second pull. Okay? All right, so bless you, I love you, and I thank you for your participation.
I forgot a couple of announcements. You'll notice you have a program. We're doing our programs in black and white now, and I just wanted to thank Mickey Lucia for designing the new cover. Thank you, Mickey. And also, as you know, Michael is here a lot at Unity, but he also does individual sessions with people. So there is a contact number in your program where you call Angela directly and she sets his appointments if you would like to do so. Thank you. Have a good day.
Our opening song this morning is Spirit in Everything. We are one and in essence all. When we look, we really see there's something that binds us all. Thank you.
Please stand and join hands and come into the awareness of spirit as we sing Surely the Presence. We stand in the presence, in the moment where spirit dwells, this now moment. We release our worries, any concerns, any regrets or resentments, for these are merely remnants of a past that no longer exists. We release fear and anxiety, knowing that these are illusionary visitors from a future that's not yet in form. We rest in the now. And though we may travel to the past and the future, and sometimes find ourselves lost on the journey, we know that God is always standing at the doorway to our consciousness, eagerly awaiting our return, with open arms, with no judgment. And we rest in that knowing in this now moment, and know that we can choose it at any time. For it is in this moment that miracles are possible. It is in this now moment where peace is birthed. And it is in this moment where love abides. And we can choose right now to let go of any illusion of separateness, to embrace our oneness, and to enter the kingdom of God. Please say after me, I choose peace, and peace chooses me.
I choose peace, and peace chooses me.
I choose love, and love enfolds me.
I choose love, and love enfolds me.
I choose joy, and joy dances me.
I choose joy, and joy dances me.
And I choose God, and all things are possible.
I choose God, and all things are possible.
And so it is. Amen.
Okay, let creation sing.
We Good morning. I'm Maddie Torville, and I'm the Director of Education here, and I'm happy to be with you all today while Reverend Shipley is finally getting some really good weather and some relaxation, well-deserved. I want to welcome you all here today, and also welcome the folks that are streaming with us from around the world. Welcome my mom, who's joining us from Florida today. I don't know what it is. I think it's a human instinct that when someone gets a microphone and a camera in front of them, they always have to say hi to Mom. But my mother introduced me to the Daily Word at a very young age and gave me a subscription in my, I don't know, I think it was my early 20s, mid-20s, at a time when a lot of people are lost or think they know what they're doing. And either way, it was very helpful. So I'm very grateful to my mom for introducing me to Unity before I ever even knew that there was a Unity Church. We are, in case you haven't noticed, a church of celebration and transformation. So I'd like to read our mission and vision statements together. Centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. We are a vibrant spiritual community that celebrates the presence in all and awakens humanity to its divinity. We have a very special guest today that I will be introducing in a little bit, but I would like to acknowledge his presence and give a warm Unity welcome to Terry McBride. Terry will be doing a workshop this evening from 6 to 9 called Taking Control of Your Creative Mind, and he'll talk to you a little bit more about that later. So we would like to welcome anyone who is celebrating with us for the first time. If there's anyone here, could you raise your hand? We have a flower for you. Welcome. We're so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. Your presence blesses us. We welcome all paths to God. And there will be somebody in hospitality after service who can give you a welcome packet and answer any questions you might have. Thank you so much for being here. And now is our time when we, in our Unity tradition, greet each other in love. So you can stand up and greet one another with I see you or namaste or whatever feels comfortable.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome a special guest artist from the new Unity Music team, and that is Paula Este. I'm not sure if anybody knows, but not only is Paula an extraordinary poet who comes up here a lot with us and with Temple Thieves, but also she's done every single one of these paintings. And the paintings that used to hang, those are Paula's too. Paula's pretty extraordinary. And we're starting a company called Torch, and we're going to do 2 of our first numbers ever premiered today. Right. Stay tuned on that. And this is called Into the Shadow. Into the shadow so hard to see. A light in the corner is calling me.
Make unto me a new horizon line. The known one does not hold me long enough to change. And change, yes, change is what I need. Change is what I need.
I gaze past the moment where the future plays, and I lurk inside my memory where past days have gone by.
Give in to me the formed idea of you. A medallion at my breast, yes, a medallion for my breast. Remembering enough, I could become brave, yes, I could become brave. Remembering, remembering.
Deep into the shadow, it's so hard to see. A light in the corner is calling me. Shadow walls that block us and find the courage to care.
Lean into mine with your hot spear.
Shadow walls that block us, find the courage to care.
Caught as I am in your embrace.
Shadow walls that block us, find the courage to care.
Make unto me a new horizon line.
Shadow walls that block us, find the courage to care.
Remembering enough, I am brave, yes.
Find the courage to care.
Change is what I need, yes.
Find the courage to care.
I am brave, yes, I am brave.
Find the courage to care.
That you are brave, yes, you are brave.
Find the courage to care.
Change is what you need, it is, yes.
Find the courage
It's what you
to care.
find the courage, yes.
Find the courage to care.
Got the courage to change, you got it, yes.
Find the courage to care. Paula Esty. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. Well, now it is my pleasure to introduce to you Terry McBride. Terry is one of the most sought-after speakers in the metaphysical and motivational movements because he lives his message that people have unlimited abilities that can be realized through conscious choice. In his book, The Hell I Can't, Terry shares his triumphant journey through an incurable disease, which included 27 surgeries in his 20s and 30s, to health and wholeness. So he knows of what he speaks. Terry boldly challenges the lie of human limitations and inspires all he meets to remember their magnificence and to choose to see their truth. Terry's speeches and seminars have a central theme, that we have the power to take charge of our creative mind and live the lives we were born to live. And I can tell you from just spending a little time with him this morning that he is definitely an authentic and genuine and very kind human being. So it's my pleasure to welcome Terry McBride.
What an honor it is for me to stand in your presence. How many of you have not heard me speak before? Raise your hand. Well, have fun. If I was talking to you one-on-one, the first thing I do is find out what books have you read? What trainings have you taken? What words and concepts are you familiar with as we explore this idea of being God in form? And then we could do this whole thing based on the words you're used to, the concepts you're familiar with. Since my people were all Montana, and I got a bit of country in me, there's a good chance as I get on a roll this morning, I might say something that's a little different than you're used to. I might quote scripture different or tell a story different. And all I would ask is if we run into a place where there's a little difference, please look past it. Because I guarantee you, my sole intention this morning is to remind each of us how absolutely magnificent and powerful we are right now. And there's this many people who haven't heard me before. I'll tell a little of my story, how I got into this philosophy we call unity, what I call the practical application of the teachings of Jesus. When I was 23, I had a spinal fusion. During surgery, my spine got infected with the E. coli bacteria. E. coli is a bad bug. And this was 50 years ago. It was even worse then. They said the only way to get it out was to cut it out. So that doctor did 4 surgeries over the next year to get rid of the infection. Every time it went in, it was worse. Finally, on the last one, when he opened me up, he said it was just spread all over. He closed me up without even doing anything. He said, this is way out of my league. He transferred me to the University of Washington Medical Center, because I lived in Seattle. Because he said, they got all the experts you need under one roof. It's a great story. I went in there and within a couple of days became a real celebrity. I had the worst case of osteomyelitis of the spine they'd ever seen. My doctor became this visiting professor from England. Supposed to be the number 3 orthopedic surgeon in the whole world. The other professors didn't talk like that, but the interns and residents did. This guy was kind of standoffish, and he said, look, with E. coli, there's not a good antibiotic. The only thing we can do is go cut it out. So I don't want to be blindsided when I go in to do this debridement, cutting out, so I'm going to do tests, because I want to find out how extensive it is. So he did tests for 2 weeks. Finally, they got good x-rays, and he came in that afternoon, and when he came in, he wasn't as standoffish. There was something different about him. He was softer. And I didn't understand emotions then. I was a construction worker. But there was something going on. And he said, look, we got good x-rays. It's much more extensive than we ever imagined. I'm going to have a meeting tomorrow with some other specialists. We'll come in after the meeting, tell you what we're going to do. Okay. And he left. My wife came a couple hours later, and the first thing she said was, what's going on? I said, what do you mean? She said, when I came down the hall, the nurses wouldn't look at me. What's going on? I don't know. Next, there's a lot of drama. Next day in the afternoon, this guy came walking in with his hospital hat, his hospital, and he had a tray in his hand. And he came in and he said, hi, my name's Frank. I'm here to prep you. Prep is hospital jargon for shave. So I started to roll over so he could get to my back. And he said, "You don't need to roll over." And I said, "How come?" And he looked down and he says, "Because I got orders here to do a front and back end to end." I said, "What's an end to end?" And he smiled and said, "You've never had one of those, have you?" And I said, "No." And he said, "I've got orders to shave you from your nipples to your knees, both front and back, and every place in between." And when he said that, for the first time in my life, I knew terror. Because they only shave where they're going to cut. That night at 8:15, 6 surgeons walked into my room. They'd been in a meeting for 4 hours. This orthopedic surgeon from England, the head of the Department of General Surgery, the head of the Department of Infectious Disease, the 3 top residents in those departments, and the head nurse. They came into my room, and this is what they said. "This infection in your spine has spread. It's spread throughout your spine, up and down your spine. It's followed both your sciatic nerves into your thighs. It's throughout your pelvic area. It's throughout your abdomen. And the E. coli is eating holes in your colon. So the germs are communicating back and forth. And if we don't stop this now, you will die." They don't say that. What they say is, this has now become life-threatening, which means if we don't stop it now, you will die. So tomorrow we're going to do the most extensive debridement we've ever attempted. We're going to take you down the operating theater, and first the general surgeons are going to start from the front. They're going to start as low as they can go down here in your pelvic area, come up around your belly button, and go up almost to your sternum. We're going to open all of that up. Cut out the infected tissue, separate your organs out of the way, and when we get down to the spine, the orthopedic surgeons will chisel and scrape the infection out of your spine. When we're done with that, we're going to roll you over, and the orthopedic surgeons are going to start. They're going to start as low as they can go down here between your buttocks, come up mid-back, open all that up, cut out all the infected tissue, chisel and scrape the infection out of your spine. When we're done with that, 2 teams of surgeons are going to start your belt line, open up both your buttocks and follow your sciatic nerves into your thighs. And when we're done with that, we're going to tip you up on the end and come in from the bottom. They were going to gut me like a dead deer. When he got down, he sat down on a chair and pulled it up next to my bed and reached out and took my hand. And that's when I knew I was in trouble, because this guy was not a touchy-feely doctor. He said, "Son, I know how radical this must seem, but we have to do this. We've got to stop this now. When we're done with the debridement, the drains, and the antibiotics that we do have, we're pretty sure we can stop it from spreading anymore. The bad news is we can guarantee you are going to lose the use of your left leg through nerve damage." And then he just looked at me. And I just looked at him. And he just looked at me. And finally I figured it must be my turn to say something. And I heard come out of my own mouth, "That's okay. That's okay. If we've got to do this, let's just get it over with." But even as those words came out of my mouth, I thought, what has happened to me? What has happened that in just 1 year I would so willingly give up the use of my left leg? But I no sooner said that than he reached up with his other hand, clamped mine between his, and he said, "Son, we have to do this. The bad news is if it's as extensive as we think it is, there's a good chance you're going to lose some of the mobility of your right leg. You're probably going to lose the control of your bowels and your bladder. And there's a very good chance you're going to end up sexually impotent." I was 24. When they left, the resident who'd been with me for the 2 weeks of tests sat on my bed and held me with my wife. My wife was on one side, he was on the other, and they just held me. They didn't say anything, they just held me. And when I finally calmed down, he said, "Terry, we don't know what's going to happen. We've never seen anything like this. But what we do know is you cannot expect to come out of this one whole." That's why the name of my book is The Hell I Can't. I did not know whether I could win. But my Uncle Larry taught me, my dad had been killed in the war, and Uncle Larry raised me. He said, son, now that you're a man, there may come a time in your life when you have to fight. He said, I'm not talking about a barroom fight, I'm talking about a real fight. And he said, you may not know that you can win, but you will know when you have to stand and fight. And I'm here to tell you, sometimes the first step in saying yes to the life you want is to be able to stand boldly and say no to the life you don't want. I had 27 major surgical procedures on my spine and abdomen. They went in the next morning after that talk, and they went in, they said the lower end of the colon is just perforated like a sieve, so they pulled my bowels out, clipped them, sewed them to my abdomen. Called it a double-barrel colostomy. I went to the bathroom in a plastic bag. They told me I'd live in a wheelchair. They told me I'd have that colostomy for the rest of my life. One surgery, they just started up here 1.5 inches wide and took all the tissue out of my back so they could see my spine and put me in a body cast for 6 months till it healed, and that didn't work. I'm going to be 70 years old this year. I don't have a bad back. I'm not recovering from a bad back. I haven't learned to live within my human limitations, and I took the prayer they gave me that said I needed to accept the things that I could not change and put it in the trash, and put a new one up that said all things are possible if only I believe. Of course, when I did that, they said that's your ego talking. When I talk to you about these principles we teach in unity, when I talk to you about what Jesus brought to the human race, the idea that all things are possible if you believe they are, whatever you ask for in prayer, believing you shall have it, that the faith of a mustard seed can move a mountain, this isn't just smoke and mirrors with me. I know how powerful you are, because I had an opportunity to find out how powerful I was. But this morning isn't about how to use these principles to heal physical challenges or financial challenges or relationship challenges, and you certainly can. We're going to talk about that tonight. This morning I want to talk to you about the mystical history of unity. Where does this stuff come from? Because it isn't new with us. So in a real brief description, from my point of view, because my focus, because I didn't know this stuff, I wasn't brought up in unity, but because of the health challenge, because of them saying this is the box you're going to live in, my focus when I read has always been on how do you grow corn with this stuff. I'm not interested about what happens after I die. I'm interested about what happens while I'm alive. What did Jesus mean when he said, I have come that you might have life and have it abundantly? What did he mean? What did he mean when he said, I have come that my joy might be in you and your joy might be full? Jesus didn't come to teach us how to work off our karmic debt. Jesus came to teach us how to have a life that's fulfilling and joy-filled. And so my focus has always been, how did these other great traditions speak to this idea of consciousness creating reality? The oldest living religion is the Hindu faith. When I first started studying the Hindu traditions, I was real confused. It seems they got a God for everything. But then as I began to understand what their teachings is, one of the basis of the Hindu teachings is everybody is different. And so their philosophical base allows everybody to begin to relate to God based on their priorities. If you're a woman and you're moving into childbearing age, they got a statue of a god or a goddess whose sole purpose is to help you get pregnant and be a good mother. So you can begin to relate to the divine presence based on your priorities, your aspirations. If you're a farmer, they got a god, a statue of a god, whose sole purpose is to help you grow crops and be successful at being a farmer. They allow people to get involved in their spiritual quest, if you will, based on where they are. And then as you begin to move up in the Hindu teachings and begin to be exposed to the mystical side of the Hindu teachings, what you find is the truth that unity is founded on. Except you couldn't go study the mystical teachings in the Hindu faith unless you were born of the right caste system, unless you were male, and unless you had jumped through all the hoops before, so you knew all the secret handshakes and all the stuff so you could get in the back room. So it was a very select group who could study the mystical teachings within the Hindu faith. But if you could study it, what the Hindus talk about is that the entire universe is created and exists from a universal mental principle known as creative mind. That the whole universe is run by creative mind. Look past the words. This is a real brief sort of summary of it. And the Hindus go on and say each individual is possessed of a portion of this creative mind. And that when this creative mind is disciplined enough, it has the power to create material representations in form without the need for physical activity. Pick up your bed and walk. Be ye cleansed. You're having a big party and the caterers don't show up, multiply the loaves and fishes. That the mind is absolutely powerful in creating your reality. But only a select group could study that. They go on to talk about that. This is out of a book called The Magic and Mysticism of India. It says that the achievement of this, the ability to create material representations through your mind, the achievement of this is said to be part of our mental inheritance and can be used when we discipline our minds sufficiently enough to make use of this God-like ability. So the Hindu faith, if you move up into it, it says that your mind is part of the divine mind. And when you discipline your mind enough, you have the right and the authority to use this godlike ability to create form. But only a select group of people could study that. The next, in my opinion, of the lineage that moves into what we call unity is the Jewish faith. Started by Abram or Abraham, depending on why and he woke up one day and decided there's only one God. He lived in a town where there was all kinds of gods, and there's only one God, monotheistic, one God who does everything. And out of that awareness came the 12 tribes of Israel and the Jewish faith, the Christian faith, and the Muslim faith. Now, when I first started studying the Jewish tradition, like most spiritual tradition, they start with a list of rules. Well, you got to do this, you got to do that. We do that today. You got to hold your palms up so you can be receptive. You got to have your feet flat on the floor so the energy from the Mother Earth can flow up through you. You got to open your crown chakra, raise your kundalini energy. You get all 7 chakras spinning in the right direction. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. And so, like most traditions, they started with that. It's my understanding in the Old Testament there's 613 rules that if you were going to be a good Jew, this is what you have to do. But if you could get past those rules and begin to study what started to evolve called the mystical teachings within Judaism, which is usually held to be in the Kabbalah, what you could find is the same truth that's talked about in the Hindu teachings. And again, you couldn't go study the mystical teachings within Judaism unless you could prove Jewish heritage on both sides of your family for 5 generations, very similar to a caste system. You had to be born in the caste system, right caste, the right family. Then you had to be a male, and you had to have jumped through all the hoops before so you knew all the secret handshakes. But if you could go study the Kabbalah, you find that the predominant thing the Kabbalah talks about is how to use prayer. They call it kovana, mystical intention in prayer. And the discipline they teach is how to take charge of your creative mind so that you can use this mystical intention in prayer. But like the Hindus, you could only use this power for certain things. In the Jewish faith, it's founded on the whole idea that we used to have our act together when we were one with God, and then we came down to earth and we blew it. You know, many traditions do that. We fell from grace, original sin, you know, all that stuff. And so what many traditions start with is how you have to fix yourself so you can get back to be one with God, which is the whole idea of mystical intention in prayer. I know this is a little dry and boring, but just hang in there. It gets to a really good point. So the whole idea was they taught how to discipline your mind to heal this apparent spiritual separation. And then along comes a guy named Isaac Luria. And he's credited as being one of the 3 most influential teachers in the history of the Kabbalah. But when it gets to Luria's teachings, it says this. But to Luria, the doctrine of mystical intention in prayer went further than just a free outpouring of religious feeling in the hopes of healing the spiritual separation. For Luria's doctrine of mystical intention in prayer stands directly on the borderline between traditional mysticism and magic. Now, when they use the word magic, they're not talking sleight of hand. In the old days, magic was when you could use the power of your creative mind to create form. To heal the sick, raise the dead, walk on water, that was called magic. And when he brought that to the party, that you can use these principles on your human needs and your human aspirations, there's this big brouhaha. Oh, no, you can't. Oh, same thing we got going today. Oh, you can't use it for this, you can't use it for that, you have to use it for this. There's always somebody with a list of where you can and cannot use it. And Luria ran into that, but he persisted. But it didn't reach mainstream. Again, there was only a select group of people. Next in this unfoldment, from my opinion, is a Hebrew scholar named Moses ben Malman. He wrote a book back in the 13th century called A Guide for the Perplexed. See, it was confusing even back then. Now notice, he's a Hebrew scholar. He's not a Jewish dogma scholar. He's a scholar of the language. And in his book, he opens the book that says that he goes on to explain that the phrase, "let us make man in our image," signifies not a physical likeness, but an intellectual likeness. This is the idea that the mind of God is my mind. This is what the Hindus talk about. The whole universe is run by creative mind, and you have an aspect of that creative mind. That if we start to study these things and step back a little, we'll see that there is this thread of truth that runs through these great mystical teachings that says, you are God expressing uniquely as woman. You're already God expressing uniquely as man. But again, there was only a select few who could read it, who could study it. And so out of that, because there was a select few, there's this idea of the ancient mystery schools, the Essenes, the Druids in the United Kingdom area, the Magi in Persia, the School of Isis for women in Egypt. And these mystery schools, you couldn't get in them. You just couldn't walk in the door. It's kind of like today in some of the secret societies. You have to be invited in. Your family has to be part of it. It was kind of like that. But it is said in the mystical writings that all the leaders of these various organizations really understood that they were all teaching the same thing. Many paths to the one God. And so it's in the writings. About 3,000 years ago, it's said that these great masters of these different organizations decided it was time to take these secret teachings to the world. And a call went out. A call went out to what's sometimes referred to as an ascended master, who was willing to come again to take these secret teachings and bring them to all of humanity. And in the mystical writings, the answer to that call was Jesus. I'm not saying this is the way it is. I'm not saying that he wasn't a virgin born and that all that stuff, all the dogma we've been taught, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if you read the mystical writings, there is this thread of truth that runs through them that leads to the birth and the teachings of Jesus. And in the original Greek writings of the New Testament, the three guys that come to visit Jesus at his birth are not called the three wise men. In the original Greek, they're called the masters of Magi. And the mystical significance of the masters of Magi converging on Jesus' birth was symbolically to say, finally, these secret teachings will be available to the human race. That's the mystical history of unity. From my opinion, there is this thread of truth that runs through these ideas that lead us to what Jesus brought to the human race. This is what Charles is talking about in his writings. Charles Fillmore, one of the co-founders of Unity, that what Jesus brought to the human race was this idea of know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. What is the truth? That you're a spiritual being. You're right now the essence of God, expressing uniquely as man. The essence of woman, the essence of God, expressing uniquely as woman. That's the truth that sets you free. And what does it set you free from? The lie of human limitations. It isn't all things are possible if you believe they are, but you need to accept the things you cannot change. It isn't whatever you ask for in prayer, believing you shall have it, except you can't do this, and you can't do this, and you can't do this. You and I have been so programmed by these rules and regulations that we lose our freedom. When I was in the hospital for the 17th surgery, they sent me to see a psychiatrist, and he read my medical records to me. He read letters from the doctor saying Terry's never going to be cured. He's probably going to spend life in a wheelchair. He's going to have a colostomy for the rest of his life. And when he got done, I said, I don't want to believe like you. I'm reading these books. These books say there's a part of me that's not sick. These books say there's a part of me that's not afraid. And what these books say is that if I can get in touch with that part of me, if I can own that who I really am is that part of me that's not sick, that part of me that's not afraid, from there I can learn to create reality rather than face reality. And he sat back and folded his arms and he said, that's your ego talking. And I told him to kiss my... Sometimes the first step in saying yes to your vision is to say no to the box they want to put you in. What this center offers you is the opportunity to discover who you are. This center is an answer to your dreams. This center is an answer to the dreams of humanity, the human race. To finally be able to come together with our sisters, with our brothers, and talk about what does it mean to be God-informed? What does it mean to be the beloved child? How do we do this? Where are you going to talk about that with? You think when you have a Thanksgiving dinner with your extended family, you can sit there at the dinner table and say, you know what I got this morning? I'm the living Christ. This center and what Shipley started all those years ago was a center where you and I could come and feel safe, where we could come and be led in song and music to inspire our hearts and to lift our minds, where we can come together and greet somebody. You're new in this community, you want to get to know people, be a greeter. You only got to do it for one day a month. And when you walk in the door, you'll find out they already love you. They already think you're family. You want to make a difference in the world? Get involved in the youth program. You don't have to commit forever. Could you imagine what it would be like? I went in there and saw these little girls and little boys in there smiling and giggling. You want to make this center part of the fabric of your existence? Chip in and help fix the air conditioner in the next center. You know what I'm talking about. I used to spend more money going out to dinner on Wednesday and having a glass of wine than I did on Sunday morning where I was really fed. This center is an answer to not only your prayers, the prayers of the world. because this energy that we create here, allowing new people to come in and feel at home and to sense this energy, it's life transforming. I don't know what your dreams are. My bet is there are some of you in here who don't even know for yourself what your dreams are because we're so busy buying into the box they want to get us in. Don't be specific, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. We don't know what to do anymore. So we pray for divine right action. We let go and let God. Jesus never said let go and let God. He said, God already supports you. It's already done as you believe. What this center will teach you is how to change your beliefs. You're already magnificent. And how do we do that? Where do we start? Charles Fillmore on page 71 of the Unity Treasure Chest is talking about that. He's talking about these great principles and tools we can use. And it comes back, so where do we start? And he says this, the way to do this is the way Jesus did it. He acknowledged himself to be the Son of God. The attainment of Christ consciousness calls for nothing less on our part than the definite recognition of ourselves as the sons and daughters of God, right here, right now, regardless of appearances to the contrary. That's where we start. That's what you feel when you walk in here. We may not say it verbally, I greet the Christ that you are, but that's where we're coming from. That we have the right to start from your unique expression of the divine. You are holy now, and you do not have to change for the infinite power of creation to back up your beliefs. It already does. What Unity will teach you is how to change your beliefs. So you start from knowing I'm the Christ. We let go of all those labels they've tried to convince us we are. The adult child of an alcoholic parent, the product of a dysfunctional family, adult incest survivor, and all that other stuff. We believe that so much. Why do you think depression is the #1 disease in the United States? We believe that. Where you need to start from is your holy now. Magnificent now. And when somebody looks at you and says, that's your ego talking, you say, you bet it is. And then the next step, starting, you move into the game from I'm a spiritual being. I'm not my stuff. I couldn't own in the beginning that I was a Christ, or I didn't even know what that meant. But I at least could tell the psychiatrist, I'm not my medical records. I'm not the opinions of my doctors. And once we begin to own that, then this is what Charles Fillmore says on page 98. Jesus did not claim to have exclusive use of the supernatural power he used. Jesus did not claim to have exclusive use of the supernatural power he used. That's how Charles languished it in the early 1900s, supernatural power. What he's saying is you have the right to use that power for yourself on your priorities. Jesus did not claim to have exclusive use of the supernatural power he used. He knew that others could do what he did if they would only try. And he encouraged his followers to use the power of faith. He encouraged his followers to use the power of thought. For it was our brother who said, the works that I do shall ye do also, and greater works than these shall ye do. I know what it's like to be down at the bottom of the ladder where they're taking you apart a piece at a time. I know what it's like when there appears to be no hope. I also know what it's like to have friends. Not a lot of them, because after 10 or 12 or 15 surgeries, most of them fell away. But I know what it's like to have friends like you who said, don't give up. I know what it's like to have somebody like your chaplains offer to you every Sunday. That if you're not sure you can do it, go speak with them, where they used to say, if you can't know it for you, I can know it for you. I celebrate what you have created here. I get to travel all over the country and speak at wonderful centers. And what you have created here is unique. It's a testament to the vision of Shipley. And in this time of transition, as she's going to retire in May, you need to stand firmly in the knowledge that this is your center. And the reason that it is powerful, the reason it is magnificent, and the reason that it is life-transforming is because of you. It's an honor for me to stand in your presence.
Thank you so much, Terry, for that message. Now we're going to prepare to move into our time of meditation.
Wow. Jeez. All things are possible. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of love.
Join me.
I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine my light of love. When I stumble, I live by the light of my faith, shining both night and day, shining both night and day. I am the radiant light of God. I shine my light of peace. I am the radiant light of God. I shine my light of peace.
And now we move into that place of peace. Allow yourself to be fully present in this moment, present to your limitless potential, to all that is possible for you as we move into the silence. As you slowly bring your awareness back to the room, back to the now, behold the radiance that is all around you, within those who surround you.
I am a radiant light of God. I shine my light over love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine my light over love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine my light of love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine my light of love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine my light of love. When I see your face, I see God's light guiding you on your way, guiding you on your way. Love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine my light of love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine my light of love. I am a radiant light of God. I shine my light of love. One more, everybody. I am the radiant light of God. I shine my light of love.
Now is the time that we hold others in prayer by saying their names aloud together. God, we behold the pure potential of the prayers within this prayer box. We know that anything is possible if we believe, and we see that these prayers are made manifest in the highest and best way for all possible. Thank you, God. Amen. We're going to be collecting our tithes and offerings in a few minutes, but first I would like to introduce our chaplains, if they could stand. As Terry mentioned, these are some beautiful souls with whom you can share whatever is on your heart and feel held in love, whether it's something out of sorrow or something out of celebration. You can see them after church and they would be happy to pray with you. So let's hold our tithes and offerings in our hands. And just imagine yourself so truly blessed to be in the flow of giving and receiving, to have no concern, but to know that you are always provided for and that God is always there. And let us say together the blessing of the tithes and offerings. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Divine Mind, Infinite Sweet Spirit, these are our gifts, our energy brought forth into form. And we trust and know that these gifts are circulated in perfect order, and that all comes to us. All that is needed is always ours. We see these gifts going out in the world to do the will and work of the Father, and we are grateful. Thank you. Amen. And speaking of grateful, we are so very grateful to all the people who make this service happen on Sunday, to Maura and the music team, to the amazing choir. I'm really loving listening to you guys. Thank you so much.
To my boys.
To our chaplains, our ushers, all the folks in the back who, I don't know what they do back there, but they're making it all happen. Did I forget anybody? Our youth education workers, the bookstore, our ushers. It takes a village, all that are in sacred service here. We are all together making this happen, and it's really totally wonderful thing to see. And we are so very grateful to you, Terry. I just want to thank you so much for your message. It's an honor. It's an honor to hear your story and the hope that you bring. And I want to give you this so you can talk a little bit about your workshop tonight.
Very briefly, if you look down at the bottom of this and your thing, it says, I created health where in the beginning I did not believe I could ever get well. That's the magic of my story. That's the magic of what we teach. You can start right where you are. This idea you've got to believe you can succeed before you start. No. You get to start right where you are. What I'm going to teach you tonight in the 3-hour workshop is how to begin to integrate your choices, how to start right where you are and begin moving towards what you want. And I guarantee you at the end of tonight, I'm going to say how many of you know if you use this stuff for 15 minutes a day, you could make your life the life you dream about. 95% of the people stand up, and for the people who didn't, I say, remember, I didn't believe I could. Get involved in this stuff. Use it every day. Don't just think about it. Apply it. Also, I've got some of my books out here. The wonderful thing about my book is that it moves through my journey of discovery. It doesn't start from knowing. It starts from right at the beginning, and it's real, because I have my medical records in my journal. It's a wonderful book. I've read it 4 times. I think it's the best book out there. That's my pitch about tonight. When they're talking about sacred service, I got here this morning when there was just 3 of us, 2 of the musicians and myself. And then as the morning progressed, more and more people of your volunteers came. You should have seen the energy, the love that was being shared by these people who are doing sacred service. It is so empowering to get involved in that kind of thing. It will transform your life. Get involved.
Awesome.
I think I forgot a couple of things. Also wanted to thank our Board of Trustees. If there are any of you here today, if you just want to stand so we can acknowledge you. Thank you for all you do. And also, Carol asked me to let you know that this is the last day of our yard sale in Unit 4 of the plaza, and all items are on a love offering basis, so check that out on your way out. Did I forget anything?
No, you did great.
Okay, thank you.
Did you mention if they can't afford the $30 to come anyway?
Yes, Terry wanted you to know that there's it's listed as a $30 charge for the workshop tonight, but he does not want anyone to be turned away. So you come.
Yeah.
Awesome. You come. So back to you, Maura.
Ladies and gentlemen, I invite Paula Esty back up, and she's leading us into the light of love. Perfect. And Steve's going to count us off.
this day was rich and golden, and all who were awake to its gifts rejoiced and were glad.
I see the flame climbing through the darkness with the light of love.
We are all family, beloved and true, yes we are. Father, you are the foundation and substance of our compassion. Mothers, the landscape of our love. Sister, you the companion of our hearts. And brothers, you are the vehicle of our love, yes.
I see the flame climbing through the darkness with the light of love.
The light of love, yes.
With the light of love.
We are the celestial circle, the wheel of creation. We are inseparable, our love unbreakable. And together, yes, together, we embrace the earth's story of love, yes.
I see the flame climbing through the darkness with the light of truth. With the light of
yes, in knowing each, we are each known, made whole by the heartbeat of the hearth, our pulses synchronized, one to another, and to the world, Your pulse is synchronized to the pulse of love, to the pulse of love. This I know, my beloved family, this I know, across time and space. Across time and space, come with me now. There is only love, there is only love, there is only love, no matter what. Darkness.
I see the flame climbing with the light of love.
With the light of God, you come with me to the light of God.
I see the flame climbing through the darkness.
Come with me to the light now.
I see the flame climbing with the light of love.
One heart.
I see the flame climbing through the darkness.
One flame of love. One flame of love.
I see the flame climbing with the light of love.
With the light of God in your heart, you are.
I see the flame climbing through the darkness.
Through the darkness, come with me through the darkness.
I see the flame climbing through the light of love.
She's climbing
Paula, would you be willing to come to my house in the morning and wake me up? I'd love to start my day like that. So now the fun part. We get to welcome in those who have not forgotten how to play. Please help me welcome in our youth and family ministry.
We are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking as the light of God. We are walking as the light of God. We are walking, walking, we are walking. Oh, we are walking as the light of God. We are walking, walking, we are walking. Oh, we are walking as the light of God.
Good morning, everyone. Today we were celebrating our acts of kindness. We have been working since January on filling our happiness bucket and acts of kindness, and we decided to make a chain, start a chain of all the things that we did through the year that were kind to one another. This is just some of them, so we're going to continue next week and maybe in the next few weeks on these. Isn't that nice? And then we had a little party because the children requested we were going to have a pizza party, and they said, no, we want chocolate and fruit. Of course, they're just like all of us Unity people. We like chocolate. So they might be a little energetic from the sugar. But we had to celebrate our acts of kindness. Thank you.
Let's stand and sing our peace song. Peace. Take in all that is yours in spirit, and know that you are magnificent, and know that all things are possible. Guys, ready? The light of God
Surrounds us.
We are the light of God.
The
Love of God enfolds us.
us.
We are the love of God. The power of
God protects us.
We are the power of God. The presence
Presence of God watches